So you want to work in finance, but only if it's halal. The problem is Islamic finance roles are hard to find and they're even harder to get into. I've worked at 3 of the biggest Islamic fintechs and I've had offers from plenty more, alhamdulillah. And if I was starting again today, here are the 5 exact steps that I'd follow so you can stop wasting time on the wrong advice and start doing what actually works. Step number 1, develop a valuable trade. Now, most people think the secret to breaking in is knowing Islamic finance, but that's a mistake. When I first got into Islamic finance, I was shocked to find out that most people there, they didn't even understand Islamic finance or even finance in general. Can you believe that? So what did they understand? Their job. And if you think about it, that makes complete sense. Most Islamic finance companies are really small, so they're not looking for generalists. They're looking for people who can solve the specific problems that they're facing. If they need a developer, they will hire a developer. Same goes for marketing, for product, for finance, legal. So step 1 is simple but essential. Develop a trade that Islamic finance firms actually need. Because the truth is, they can teach you the Islamic finance bit, but they won't hire you if you can't do the job. Okay, let's say you've got a valuable trade that Islamic finance firms need, but how do you actually find the jobs? Well, 99% of the time you'll only discover these jobs if you're in the right networks. Why is that the case? So imagine if you were a business owner, where would you look for people to hire? Keep in mind that you don't have a big HR department and you don't have a budget to pay recruiters. So what would you actually do? You would start with people that you know, you would share it on your website, and you would also share it on your social media. Look, the truth of it is Islamic finance firms won't find you, so you need to find them. How? The first thing you should do is follow Islamic finance companies and senior employees on LinkedIn. But don't just connect. Go one step further. Comment on their posts, add thoughtful insights, ask good questions. And you want to check their websites and socials regularly. And if they're attending events, which most Islamic finance companies will do, go. Say salam. Ask them what they're working on. Be curious. Build relationships. Networking is a term that has a bad reputation, but that's because most people just don't get it. And that used to be me. I hated the concept of networking. It felt so fake and forced. But over time I realized something. Real networking is just about building relationships. It's about getting to know people, staying in touch with them, being a decent human being, and offering your help where you can. And if you think about it, that's what Islam teaches us anyway. Every single role that I've had in Islam and finance has come from my network. Networking is incredibly important. And you need to get into the right circles. Because if you're not visible, you won't be considered and nothing else will matter. Step 3, learn Islamic finance to stand out. Okay. I know I just said you don't need to understand Islamic finance, but if you do understand it, it will give you an edge. And I see this all the time at work. If you don't understand finance, you're going to naturally be slower than the people that do understand it. So learn it. And how? Well, there's a few different ways. Number 1, I would start with all of the free stuff. There's so many free articles out there. I've personally published over 100, and there's free YouTube videos and there's even free courses. And I would recommend looking at sites like IFG and following people like Mufti Faraz Adam on LinkedIn for daily insights. Number 2, buy some books. And here are 4 recommendations that I've personally read. The Problem with Interest, Prophetic Finance and Economics, Halal Investing for Beginners, and Heaven's Bankers. By the way, should I review these books? Comment below if so, and subscribe so you don't miss it, inshallah. Number 3, do courses. And there are 2 main types of courses. Number 1, industry courses where you get a qualification with professional bodies like SEMA. For example, I did the SEMA diploma in Islamic finance, which gave me a great grounding in the subject, but you will have to pay for it. And it cost me around £700 to £800 back in 2018 when I did it. If you're used to the Western style of learning, this would be a great fit. Or you can study with scholars. One great example is Mufti Faraz, who regularly does courses with IFG. He is one of the leading Islamic finance scholars, and I actually studied with him for 1 year, doing a course on prophetic finance and mainly studying hadith. And the other type of courses are university courses, but I don't actually think you need to do these. I think it'd be much better if you start with the free stuff, and if you wanted to do a course, do the part-time courses, so the SEMA or the CISI, or even studying with scholars. I don't think you have to go to university to do it, but that's just my personal opinion. Step 4, actually use their products. Alright, here's something that sounds obvious, but for some reason almost nobody does it. Actually use the products of the companies you want to work for. I'm serious. I can't tell you how many people apply to Islamic finance companies and they never even downloaded the app or even checked the website out. It's wild. And think about it from the company's perspective. If someone comes to an interview and they can't even tell you what your main product does, or what the user experience is like, what does that actually say about their interest in actually working there? On the flip side, when you've actually used the product, you can have real conversations. You can point out things that work well, suggest improvements, and talk about the user journey. You become someone that actually gets it and not just someone that wants the job. And here's the bonus. Using their products gives you a natural way to contact them. You're not just cold messaging them saying, I want to work for you. You're reaching out as a customer with genuine feedback. You can say, hey, I've been using your app for 3 months and I've noticed this one thing that could be improved. Or even just Salaams, I've been using the app for 3 years. I really love what you're building. I'm a marketer, so if you ever need help with marketing, I'd love to help out, inshallah. Trust me, founders love hearing from engaged users, and it's way better than getting another generic LinkedIn message. Step 5, do voluntary work. Now this is going to sound a bit counterintuitive, but one of the best ways to work in Islamic finance is to work for free first. Look, I know, before you cancel me, you want to get paid and not work for free, but hear me out. Most companies care about experience more than anything, especially if you're a small company. So if you can show them that you've actually done relevant work, even if it was voluntary, that's going to put you way ahead of someone that has no experience. Plus, when you're volunteering, you get direct access to the founders and senior people. You're not just another CV in a pile. You're someone that they actually know and they have worked with. So what kind of volunteer work can you actually do? Honestly, anything. Write articles for the website, help them organize events. If you're good with social media, offer to help them with that. Anything you can help out with. The key is to be specific when you reach out. Don't just say I want to help. Say I'm good at design and I noticed you could use help with improving your app's design. Can I suggest a new design for you for free? Most people won't do that, and that's exactly why it works. Before I wrap up, I want to say something that I wish someone had told me earlier, and that's you don't have to work in Islamic finance to have a halal career. I used to think that unless I was working at an Islamic bank or some halal investment platform, my career didn't really count. I wasn't really having an impact, but that's just not true. Any halal job can be Islamic if you approach it with the right intentions. If you're honest in your work, if you try to do everything with ihsan, if you're serving people, that's Islamic, regardless of what industry you're in. So don't feel like you have to box yourself into Islamic finance. Yes, it's a great option. And if that's what you want to do, then these steps will help you get there, inshallah. But it's not the only way to live your values at work. Now, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe for the algorithm and check out this playlist for other videos that you may like. And I would love to know, what's your biggest challenge with getting into Islamic finance? Drop it in the comments and I'll do my best to respond to everyone, inshallah.